Namaste. A very, very happy Diwali to you. Today, we will tell you about the festival of Diwali. Now, Diwali is a festival that is celebrated all over the India, and every part of India has a special story for Diwali. For example, in the north of India, Diwali is the day when Lord Rama returned to Ayodhya after 14 years of Vanavasa and killing Ravana. In the south of India, we celebrate the Krishna Narakasura story for Diwali. So today, we'll share with you the wonderful story of Krishna and Narakasura. So girls, do you all know which avatar of Lord is Rama and Krishna?
Vishnu.
Correct. Rama and Krishna are avatars of Lord Vishnu. So just like Rama and Krishna, Lord Vishnu has taken many life forms on this earth. He's actually taken 10 life forms. This is known as the Dashavatara of Lord Vishnu. So our story, the story of Krishna and Narakasura, begins when Lord Vishnu was in his third avatar, which is also known as the Varaha avatar. Varaha in Sanskrit means wild pig or boar. So Varaha or Lord Vishnu was in his third avatar when to Varaha and Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth, a son was born. Mother Earth named the son Naraka. Mother Earth or Bhumi Devi loved Naraka very much. She was very devoted to her son. So she asked her husband Varaha to bless her son Naraka with long life and to be too powerful to be defeated by anyone. Varaha agreed and blessed his son to have a very long life and to be very powerful and strong. And Varaha also broke one of his tusks and gave it to his son Naraka. While giving the tusk to his son Naraka, Varaha said, "Oh, no doubt, Naraka, you're going to live an extremely powerful and strong life with my blessings. And here is this tusk. Take it and use it in times of extreme danger to protect yourself. This tusk will protect you. But mind you, son Naraka, always live a life of dharma and live up for holding your values," which meant living a life of kindness, truth, and to be helpful and caring for others. So years passed by and Naraka grew up to be a very powerful and strong person. He was actually the ruler of a city called Pragjyotishapura. In the present day India, Pragjyotishapura is actually the state of Assam along with some parts of China. Naraka was a wise and good ruler, but soon he fell into bad company. He became friends with an evil demon called Banasura and got into bad habits. He was driven with the power of money and greed for more and more money and power. The influence of Banasura on Naraka was so bad that Naraka was soon referred to as Narakasura. Driven with the power of greed and hunger, he wanted to conquer all the three worlds. He waged wars and defeated all the kingdoms on this earth. Then he wanted to defeat the Swargaloka. He came to understand that in Swargaloka, Lord Indra had thousands of divine elephants and thousands of beautiful women or apsaras. He wanted to kidnap all of them and wanted to attack Swargaloka. But before he attacked Swargaloka, one of his ministers advised Narakasura. The minister said, "Oh Narakasura, the Swargaloka Devas live and Devas are immortal. They have no death. You are no match to the immortal Devas. So before you plan on attacking the Swargaloka, make sure you do your tapasya and get a boon of immortality from Lord Brahma." Narakasura thought, okay, that made some sense. So off he went into the deep forest to do tapasya or penance, praying very, very hard to Lord Brahma. For years and years, he prayed and he did his tapasya to Lord Brahma. Finally, Lord Brahma appeared before Narakasura and asked him, "Oh dear Bhakt, Narakasura, I am extremely happy with your tapasya. Ask me for a boon, I will grant you whatever you ask." Narakasura knew there is no point asking the immortality boon to Lord Brahma because all that is born must die. And Brahma couldn't give a boon of immortality. So Narakasura was a very tricky man. He did the next best thing. He asked Lord Brahma, "Oh dear Brahma, can you give me a boon such that nobody else in this world can kill me other than my mother. Okay, because Narakasura knew that Bhumi Devi was very much in love with her son and she would never do such a thing as to kill her own son. So this was almost equivalent of asking the immortality boon to Lord Brahma. So Narakasura asked for this. If anybody should be able to kill Narakasura, it should be his mother, right? So Lord Brahma smiled, blessed Narakasura and said, Tadastu. So be it. Now with this boon from Lord Brahma, Narakasura became invincible. There's nothing in the world, no one in the world who would be able to kill him. And he already had set his eyes on Swargaloka. So he took his evil, huge army and went to Swargaloka, the abode of Indra, and attacked the heavens themselves. The army of Narakasura looted and plundered the heavens. Narakasura himself went behind the Devas. While fighting, a shining, glittering object caught the attention of Narakasura. It was the earring of Mother Aditi. The Mother Aditi was the mother of all the Devas. Narakasura was a very, very greedy man. He wanted to get hold of that earring somehow. So he attacked Mother Aditi herself. He assaulted her and stole her earrings. And not just the earrings, he also captivated and kidnapped 16,000 apsaras or beautiful women from the Indraloka, and also the mountain of pearls and gems called as Maniparvata. He plundered and looted the heavens. Lord Indra, on seeing his kingdom being attacked and his own mother being attacked, felt helpless. He knew he was no match to the immoral Narakasura. So he fled the Swargaloka and went under the refuge of Lord Vishnu. To Vishnu, he folded his arms and he prayed and he described all that is happening in his kingdom and begged Lord Vishnu to help him to kill Narakasura. But Lord Vishnu knew of the boon that Lord Brahma had given her, that if anybody could kill Narakasura, it would be his mother, right? And Lord Vishnu also knew that Bhumi Devi had taken a rebirth and reborn on this earth as Satyabhama, who is the wife of Lord Krishna. So Lord Vishnu advised Indra, saying, why don't you go to Lord Krishna and ask for his help? Now that Bhumi Devi is reborn on this earth as Satyabhama, I am sure Krishna and Satyabhama would be able to help you. Thus, Lord Indra went to the palace of Krishna. Krishna was spending his day with his wife Satyabhama when Indra visited Krishna. Again to Krishna, with folded arms and with tears in his eyes, Lord Indra said and described whatever is that's been happening to his kingdom, looted and plundered by the evil Narakasura. And he also said that his own mother, Mother Aditi, was assaulted and her earrings stolen by Narakasura. On hearing that Mother Aditi herself was attacked by Lord Narakasura, Satyabhama lost her temper. She got very, very angry. She screamed, how dare Narakasura do this to Mother Aditi? We need to avenge this. Then she looked at her Lord Krishna and she said, my Lord, let's not waste any time. Let's go now itself and kill Narakasura. So on saying this, Krishna and Satyabhama mounted on Garuda, celestial eagle, the vehicle of Krishna, and rode towards Pragjyotishapura, the city where Narakasura lives. Now the fortress of Narakasura in Pragjyotishapura was in its center. All around the fortress there were 4 layers of magical defenses that Krishna would have to cross in order to reach the fortress. The outermost layer was a range of huge mountains, and whichever direction Krishna and Satyabhama flew on Garuda, that direction the mountain just grew and it formed a new barrier. Krishna finally took his mace and with one blow shattered the entire mountain range. The second layer of defense was the layer of fire. Krishna put down the fire with his immense powers. Then there was a downpour of magical and deadly weapons raining on Krishna and Satyabhama. Krishna again with his superpowers fired a few arrows and destroyed all the weapons. The last ring of defense was a ring of deep water. Krishna dried up the entire water again with his superpowers, and thus After all the 4 layers of defenses, Krishna and Satyabhama manages to reach the fortress of Narakasura. Now the fortress itself was guarded by Mura. Mura was the 5-headed demon, the chief defender of Narakasura's army. On seeing Krishna and Satyabhama come, Mura attacked Krishna. Mura was also a very mighty soldier. Now Krishna took his Sudarshana Chakra and struck on Mura. With one blow, the Sudarshana Chakra beheaded all the 5 heads of Mura. Now, after killing of Mura, Krishna got another name. Krishna is also known by the name of Murari, which means the one who killed Mura. With Mura dead, Narakasura emerges from his fortress and comes to the battlefield to fight Krishna himself. Narakasura is also a very mighty and strong warrior and a strong opponent of Krishna. So Krishna and Narakasura fought for days and nights, and then on the day of Chaturdashi, Narakasura took the tusk. Remember who gave the tusk to Narakasura? Varaha. His own father gave this tusk to Narakasura. So he took this tusk and blew, and with one strike hit Krishna on his chest. Krishna fell down unconscious. It's a very strong weapon that was given by Lord Vishnu himself. So Krishna also didn't stand a chance. He fell unconscious. On seeing her husband fall down to the ground, Satyabhama grew furious. Satyabhama herself was a mighty warrior. She continued the fight with Narakasura with bow and arrow. And one of the arrows that Satyabhama left pierced through the heart of Narakasura, and Narakasura fell down. As he fell down, Narakasura realized that Satyabhama is none other than his wife Bhumi Devi in her next avatar. Narakasura repented all his sins, and he prayed to Satyabhama with folded hands and asked her for forgiveness for living a life of adharma. Before he died, Narakasura also prayed that the entire world celebrate this day as the death of evil. So the day of killing of Narakasura is celebrated by the entire world as the death of evil, and we celebrate it by lighting the lamps in our homes and bringing lightness into our lives. Now Krishna, after killing Mura, he gained his consciousness back and went back to the palace. Once he reached palace, he took a long bath in scented oil to cleanse himself of all the blood and the sins of killing this demon. From that day, it is also a practice that on Diwali day, we get up in the morning, and first thing in the morning before dawn, we all apply oil on ourselves and take a bath. It is believed that if we do so, all our sins will be washed away and cleansed on the day of Diwali. So this is the story of Naraka and Krishna. Narakasura, Krishna Narakasura story. Now the essence of Diwali is to lead us from darkness to light. Just like we light the lamps in our homes and bring brightness into our homes, we need to seek our inner light and remove darkness from within. So this Diwali, let us all light a lamp of happiness, knowledge and compassion in our hearts. A very, very happy Diwali to all of you, and stay bright. Namaste.